I realized the only thing that I had not tried to lose weight and to improve my life, the only thing was loving myself. That was the moment that I knew I had to love the woman I saw in the mirror, whether I liked how she looked, whether I liked how she was showing up in life. None of that mattered. I just had to love her, which is what I'd been looking for all my life
Yeah.
and wanting all my life. And I was trying to receive it externally rather than internally. That's the shift that shifted everything for me. And I lost 220 pounds. Naturally, I've kept it off for over 10 years. And it's been a remarkable, wild, difficult, rewarding, scary journey.
Welcome to Sheila's Take, your go-to podcast for thoughtful insights on love, faith, health, fitness, relationships, and navigating today's challenges through a spiritual perspective. Join me, Sheila Dunbar, as we explore various aspects of life with a mindful and godly approach. Tune in for engaging discussions on all things meaningful and transformative. Welcome to another exciting episode of Sheila's Take. Today, I have a truly remarkable guest, a woman whose life story is a testament to resilience and transformation. Tara Wiskow. From grappling with identity struggles at a young age to overcoming personal loss and battling self-doubt, Tara has transcended her challenges to discover her true purpose. She's a successful entrepreneur and founder of Be the Change You Need. Tara now empowers women to break free from their limiting beliefs and step into their full potential. Her journey from weight loss coach to intuitive and energy healer has been fueled by personal experiences of grief, healing, and radical reinvention. Tara's program, She Rises, and her signature process, Unravel, Upgrade, Uplevel, helps countless women reclaim their authenticity and take charge of their destinies. So let's get ready to be moved by her message of empowerment and self-discovery. Tara, thank you for being here and sharing your wisdom with us today. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic, Sheila. And thank you for that amazing opening and welcome. You have tears. I'm holding back tears. So thank
Oh,
you for
stop
that
it,
so
stop it.
much.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, when I read your bio and read about you, I'm like, oh my goodness, you have such an incredible story. And I'm like, it's amazing what you have gone through and how you have triumphed and how now you are helping other women to empower themselves. And
Thank you.
we need more women like you out here doing that, more people doing that. As Beyonce says, women rule the world anyway. Right?
Yes. Yes.
So come on now, come on. So I got to give you your flowers. I got to give you your flowers. But um, as I said earlier, your story is very powerful. And I wanted to know, can you just start by telling my guests about your early struggles with identity? And I read about how you discovered your biological father. How did that influence your journey?
Yeah, absolutely. When I was 8,
Hmm.
being surprised with the question or the statement, I saw your dad today. And my immediate response of being, of course, I know he's in the house and hearing, well, not your dad, Junior, your dad, Bruce, not knowing, I mean, my dad, Bruce, I don't have a dad, Bruce. And when I connected to understand that I had a father figure that lived 5 hours away from me with sisters that I'd never met, that I didn't know existed, and to look at myself, even at 8 years old, and start to put pieces together of seeing how different I was from my entire family, For instance, I'm brown hair and brown eyes. My family, my mom, my dad, and 2 sisters were blonde hair and blue eyes. I looked nothing like them. And I started at the age of 8 and then 9 and the years to follow to really look at how I was so different in so many ways. I began to pick myself apart, and I tried to blend in and be like them. And I'd become frustrated because I couldn't be like them. And so my loss of identity started at that moment and progressed years to follow as I felt like I'd already been rejected by the man that created me.
Mhm.
And even though I was so loved and so accepted by my stepdad, he's my dad. He's always
Mhm.
going to be my
Yeah.
dad. There's a big feeling of rejection and confusion at that young age when you find out that somebody didn't want you and hadn't been in your life. It it radically shook my world, to be honest, Sheila, because I didn't know if it was okay for me to be me
Mhm.
and if I would be accepted and wanted. So that caused me to lose connection with my truth.
Yeah.
And in later years, I did meet my biological dad. I met him when I was 12. And in that experience, I looked exactly like him. I looked like my sisters. I mean, I get goosebumps now when I think about how much I looked just like them. But again, I felt like I had to shift my identity of who I was to fit in with that family. And then I'd go home to my other family
Yeah.
and I would no longer look the same, and I'd be in that transition of trying to figure out who I needed to be to belong there. And then at 15, I lost my dad, my biological dad, to cancer. So only 3 years of him being in my life, and there again was another big grieving moment
Yeah.
because I found him. I felt like I was connecting. I began to trust and feel like I belonged. And then I felt rejected by him once again, even though his expiration date arrived and God chose to take
Mhm.
him. It was out of his control. I still took that as a rejection of him remaining and being here and leaving me once again.
So at 8 years old, you're saying you found out that the father that you thought was your father wasn't, and you had someone else, and you didn't meet him until what, 4 years later?
Yes, I was terrified, Sheila. I was so scared to meet my biological dad. I was terrified to go. I was
Yeah.
honestly don't know exactly what I was scared of other than he wouldn't want me. Like,
Right.
I would show up and then he would say open the door and say, "That changed my
Mhm.
mind." You know,
Yeah.
"Go back home." And so I it took me 4 years to gain the courage to go.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then after you did, you lost him soon
Yeah,
after. That
yeah.
that had to be, yeah, devastating, upsetting. I mean, I lost my father at 13, and he was with
Oh,
me all my life. So just to have someone in your life that you've just met, now you're building a relationship, and to lose him, that can be very traumatic. Um,
yeah.
how did that experience shape your understanding of love and security and belonging?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it really skewed it a lot. I had a lot of struggles with believing that I always had to have a boyfriend, right? You know, as girls, we are young and it's puppy love and all this stuff. And
Yeah.
for me, it was if I had a boyfriend, then I was loved by a male figure, even at a young age. I remember a first grade teacher saying to me, I was in the third grade saying, "You're very boy crazy. You need to go play on the playground with the girls." And I just wanted to play with the boys. I wanted to be one of the boys, one of the
Mhm.
guys, because that's where I think at that age, I felt like I was connecting with the male species
Yeah.
that wanted me and chose me. And so I didn't see it as anything wrong. It was just my thoughts and my beliefs, I think, at that age. But it also caused me to, again, think that I always had to have a boyfriend. I always had to have a boy that liked me and accepted me and picked me, because then it gave me worth, it gave me
Mhm.
value. It meant that I was good enough or wanted. So I was constantly wanting to replace the man that fathered me and didn't want me. I was always
Mm.
wanting to replace that by the love of a boy. And as years went on, I got engaged when I was 17, and very young, and he was actually 5 years older than me.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
he was graduated from high school, I was in high school, and I, immediately hook, line, and sinker stepped into this relationship, and thank goodness he was a great, great guy. I mean, a very, very calm, down to earth, safe individual. And we married at 20 years old and had my first child at
Mhm.
21, and all very, very young. And then, you grow up. You grow up and you're like, whoa, three boys later, I'm blessed, but why did I marry you? This is not a good fit. It's never been a good fit. And interestingly, Sheila, the day before our wedding, I went to the mailbox. Our mailbox, I mean, doesn't matter, it was over a mile away. So I drove to the mailbox, and I had just went through cancer testing at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, because they weren't certain if the medullary thyroid cancer that my dad passed from was hereditary or not.
Mhm. Okay.
I got the test results and it came back saying that I had cancer the day before our wedding.
Yeah.
And I tried to call the wedding off, but everybody said, no, 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 discouraged it, stay, it's going to be okay. And everything was fine. And, thyroid removed, all was
Mhm.
good. Nothing came of it. But I look at that as kind of a divine sign of indicating this probably isn't the right thing. Though, am I disappointed? No, because I have 3 amazing young
Yeah.
men I get
Yeah.
to call mine,
Yeah.
that are mine, and I'm blessed to have them. So, to answer your question, it really, really, mm, it really made me follow a path that was not healthy in looking for love in all the wrong ways.
Mhm. Now, you mentioned you have 3 sons, and I know there was a profound moment that
Mm.
involved your son, one of your sons. Can you share a little bit about what happened and what changed your perspective on life?
I'd love to. It's a story I can finally get behind. It's a story that I can't guarantee I won't tear up and get emotional sharing.
It's okay.
I over after, the years of being married and being unhappy and
Mhm.
feeling unfulfilled and all that, I got to the weight of 338 pounds and was deemed morbidly obese.
Yeah.
And after my first husband and I divorced, I went in I was trying to lose weight even before that, even before trying to lose weight and get to a healthier place. And, just like I tried to find the quick and easy love that would give me that value, I was looking for the easy button or the quick and easy drop the pounds process.
Mhm.
And everything I tried wasn't working. Starvation, deprivation, pills, patches, wraps, I mean, drinks, you name it.
Yeah.
And I eventually started to struggle with eating disorders, anorexia, bulimia, both of those. And we were at the park one day in this process, and this really leads to this moment with my son. And I was deep in thought around just how I'd let myself go and how disgusted I was as a
Mhm.
parent. And every time we went to the park, I was a park bench mama. I couldn't fit on the park equipment. I couldn't play with my boys the way I wanted to. So I would stay stationary on the park bench and allow all the other moms that were more active, and they would take my boys in under their wing and play with them and join them in on all of their games. And this one day, typically I watched to make sure, like, I knew when everybody was leaving and I'd gather the boys up and we'd go before everybody else was gone. But this day, deep in thought, I didn't. And I looked up and I've got these 3 dirty faces looking at me and they want to play their favorite game.
Yeah.
And it's a swing game. And so I agreed to playing just one time and then we're gonna go. And
Mhm.
of course you get going in their favorite game and it's fun and it's so much fun and you get lost in it. And so I was the runner in the game and they're on the swings. And so it's my oldest son, my youngest son, and then my middle son. And they're swinging back and forth. And as I'm saying this, there's listeners are like, oh, yeah, I know that game. And I'm running between the swings. And so your goal, right, is to not get hit.
Yes.
So I get to the end and I told my oldest Trevor, I said, okay, I'm going to go by Trevor and then by Tristan, then by Trey, and then we're done and we're going home. And so I get by Trevor and Tristan goes, "Me next." And he's all excited and I giggled and in that like giggle it set me off and I tripped and I fell. And in the falling, Tristan came and slammed his feet up against my body and he was 2.5 and the force of it flipped him backwards off the swing and when he landed, it knocked him out and actually cracked his head open. And I remember crawling to him, seeing this, and Trevor and Trey started, I mean, screaming, crying, seeing the blood instantly, and seeing their brother unconscious. And I remember picking him up and running. And they say that when adrenaline hits you, you can lift a car.
Mhm.
I I couldn't stay running, Sheila. I would have to stop every few feet to catch my breath because I was that out of shape and that unhealthy. And I remember the other 2 boys bawling and asking, "Mom, please, please run." And by the time I got to the van, Tristan did come to,
Yeah.
and he was very, very scared and crying and with the blood everywhere, and he ended up being fine.
Mhm. Yeah.
We got to the ER, and they put staples in his head, and he was proud of his
Mm.
staples and proud of the lollipop that he got.
Yeah. Little boys, little boys. I know.
What what nobody else knew is that was a day that crushed me mentally, and that was the day I started to struggle with suicide. I felt like nothing nothing I did was making me a good enough person. I was still back to that 8-year-old trying to find love and validation, and on my 3rd suicidal attempt, my middle son walked in. I thought I'd locked the door, and I'll never forget him walking in and observing what he saw and saying, "Are you gonna die, mama?"
Mm.
And because I'd been lied to by my mom young, I knew I would never lie to my boys. And so my answer was gonna be yes or no, and whatever I chose, that was going to be the outcome of my response, and I remember looking at him, and this was my first experience with connecting with my guides, with our future, our higher self, divine spirit, God, the higher power, whoever you speak to. I remember clearly hearing it them say to me, "Tara, you have got to learn to love yourself as much as you love these boys. That is your only way
Mhm.
through." And in that moment, I looked at Trey and I said, "No, bud, I'm not going to die." And in that moment, I realized the only thing that I had not tried to lose weight and to improve my life, the only thing was loving myself. That was the moment that I knew I had to love the woman I saw in the mirror, whether I liked how she looked,
Mhm.
whether I liked how she was showing up in life. None of that mattered. I just had to love her, which is what I'd been looking for all my life
Mhm. Yeah.
and wanting all my life. And I was trying to receive it externally rather than internally. That's the shift that shifted everything for me, and I lost 220 pounds. Naturally, I've kept it off for over 10 years, and it's been a remarkable, wild, difficult, rewarding, scary journey.
Well, you look amazing. First of all,
Thank you.
those of you who are listening on the audio and not looking at the video,
Mhm.
Tara is beautiful. She looks amazing. So congratulations on that, Tara, because I was in the same type of position you were in. I
Mhm.
was 230 pounds
Wow.
overweight and type 2 diabetes.
Yeah.
And same thing. I had to start loving myself and knowing about self-love and realizing that I I I wanted to live for my family. Sometimes life altering things to happen for you to see it and to realize that this is what you need to do.
So true. And I'm so proud of you. Look at
Yeah.
you.
I'm proud of you. I mean, you got two beautiful women up here, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Let's your weight loss journey was significant.
Mhm.
What key lessons did you learn about it from transforming your body and your mind?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Patience.
Yeah.
That's a number one.
Yeah.
Key lessons is doing it for yourself. As a weight loss coach, I still coach women in the weight loss world because it's my passion.
Mhm.
It's you have to lose weight for yourself.
Yeah.
When a woman comes to me and says, I want to lose weight because I have a vacation coming up, I want to lose weight so that my husband will look at me with more admiration
Mhm.
and respect, my heart breaks because I know that no amount of work that they put into it is not going to get the results that they're looking for. And so any weight loss result that any reason you choose to lose weight or do anything that
Mhm.
is about personal development and
Yeah.
self-growth, it has to be for you and about you,
Mhm.
nobody else. That's the biggest lesson that I learned. And also the second lesson is it has to be personalized to you. Every single one of my women have a different nutritional plan and a different workout plan because cookie cutter doesn't work,
Mhm.
which is, I mean, we as women have need to start celebrating ourselves and our uniqueness anyway.
Mhm.
And that's one way to celebrate your uniqueness is knowing that for you to be successful in anything that you want to be successful in, it has to be about you, for you, and tailored to you.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm.
Yes. That's so true. But definitely, we have to we have to do things for ourselves. That's the one thing I realized because no one was gonna help me. And this is my journey with weight loss has been pretty much all my life, especially as I've gotten older. Your
Yep.
metabolism slows down. When I was younger, if I wanted to fit into a dress, I could eat tuna fish for a week and knock the pounds off. You
Right.
know, fast forward another 20 years later, that ain't happening. I could eat tuna fish for 3 months and it's not happening. You know, and once I realized, okay, I I want to do it because I need to be more healthy. Yes, I need to be here to feel good within myself. And the best thing ever, and I shared this. I have a wellness coach, and I know Tara, you probably can relate to this. The best thing ever that I felt when I lost weight was when I was able to get out the shower and I did not have to use one of those extra large, big towels.
Yeah.
You,
Yes.
you,
All day
you
long.
know, you know what I'm talking about. I can use a regular sized towel to cover myself. Oh my God. That was one of the best. That's one of the best feelings, and um, but you faced another life-altering tragedy with the loss of your sister in
Yeah.
2023, right?
Yes.
How did her passing lead you to divine guidance and ultimately to your purpose of as an intuitive energy healer and life reinvention expert?
Yeah. Interestingly, I've always been a healer of a sort. It's been even in my weight loss program, I've
Mhm.
always been about shifting your mindset, always about, the loving yourself and the self-worth, essentially healing. And when we lost Trisha, everything happens as I don't like the statement, but I do like the statement. Things happen as they need to,
Yeah.
right? And I was struggling with my own health of thyroid issues, levels, and they came out of nowhere. I've never had this issue before,
Mm.
ever in all the years that I've not had a thyroid. And I started to experience very, very deep lethargic and losing hair. I was in paranoia, down on the floor. I mean, having panic attacks. And at the same time that I'm going through this, Trisha is coughing and experiencing tiredness and having similar situations. And they're checking her thyroid, doing different things. I was so tired that I wasn't tuning into what was taking place. I
Mm-mm.
wasn't, and my paranoia was at this very, very high level that I wasn't fully hearing. And I took a teaching position. I have not been in a classroom. I'm an elementary ed teacher. I've not been in the classroom for a number of years,
Mhm.
well, 11 years. But out of nowhere, I decide that I have to get a teaching job. This was part of the paranoia. So I apply for a job, and Sheila, nobody else applied for this position. I was given a first grade position. Yes, okay? I
Okay.
bawled the day they offered me this position. I felt like I had to take it. I felt like I had
Mhm.
no choice.
Yeah.
So I accept the position. I'm in the school year going, and we at this point I'd figured out it was thyroid. So they regulated my levels, da 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 da, started to get grounding. This is when I started to tap in and realize that my sister Trisha just wasn't doing well, but my
Mhm.
hands were tied. I'm in the classroom. I'm stuck to it.
Yeah.
December, she's diagnosed with bile duct cancer, stage 4. And I instantly knew she wasn't going to make it. And I knew, I heard, I got the download, and I had the knowing that there was no way she was coming out of this. And so I finished out the year of the year. That's what she wanted me to do. She's like, "Stay in the classroom, finish this out. When you're done with the year, then you'll come and we'll be part of things." That was our agreement. The very last day of my teaching, I turned in my key. I drove home. I was on the deck outside and sitting and enjoying. My dad called and he said, "Tara, Trisha's on life support." And she was 3 hours away. So I packed a bag and I flew all the way down there. And the next day we shut the machine off and let her go. In that moment, I instantly felt her in a way that I'd never felt somebody that I lost. I've lost a lot of people in my life that I've loved deeply. I have never felt them like I felt Trisha. She was there.
Mhm.
She was giving me pennies. I was finding pennies on the ground that had years, the year she was born, the year that we found out that she had a bone disease, the year that we went to Georgia, the year that I was born. They were specific dates, and I knew she was there every single time. Shortly after she passed away, I remember hearing from her, "You really need to look at your life. Are you doing what you were created to do?" And I sat down on the swing outside and I asked myself, "Am I?" And I realized that for years I've been saying, "Something's missing. When am I going to do what I'm meant to do? I love what I'm doing, but I don't feel fulfilled. I don't feel like I'm living my purpose." And all of a sudden, I could make out that she was there. Like, I could see her standing with me, and she said, "I'm glad you're finally hearing what you've always needed to hear." And in that moment, it spooked me.
Mhm.
I talked to my mom, and she said, "You're just trying to keep her alive. That's all you're doing. You're trying to keep her alive, keep her with you. You're not ready to let her go. It's not fair to her. You got to let her go so she can pass over." I don't know any of this stuff at this point, so I take my mom's words for face value. Fast forward a month later, it's our anniversary, and my husband and I are gone on a vacation for our anniversary, and I clearly hear Trisha say to me, I want you to get a gift for mom from me." Exactly how she said it. And I could just hear it in my head. It's like it's not her voice, but I know it's her. We're there for 5 days. She says it to me all 5 days, and I've ignored this coming through, 'cause my husband is a very big skeptic. So the very last day I said, "Okay, babe, Trisha wants me to get a gift for mom from her somewhere here." He said, "Oh, okay." So I asked Trisha, I'm like, "Where are we gonna go then?" And she said, "Right across the street." And right kitty corner across the street is a gift shop. So we walk into the gift shop, and I said, at this point, I'm kinda snarky about it. I'm like, "Okay, where now?" 'Cause I'm not really believing. And she
Mhm.
said, go straight and then go right. So I did that. And then I'm at a T. She goes, go right. And
Wow.
then, right, I stop and she said, it's right down on the bottom in front of you. Now, before Trisha passed, my mom and her were sewing coffee cup coasters to keep Trisha kind of moving because she was struggling with breathing and
Mhm.
one doctor wanted her to keep moving. And Trisha was only 4 foot 9.5, 10 feet because of her bone disease. Okay. This is all important for what I share next. On the bottom shelf is a coffee cup. And on the coffee cup, it says, I will always love you and I will always be with you, your short one. Right. She led me directly to that.
Wow.
Yes.
No, wow. Oh.
I picked up that coffee cup and I walked directly to the checkout counter bawling. I share the story with the ladies. The ladies are bawling at the checkout counter. And I leave and I give that to my mom. And I fully opened up about a year later. I resisted opening up intuitively for fear of judgment, which
Mhm.
we all do that, right? We fear
Right.
that judgment, fear change. But I opened up intuitively fully after I continued to receive messages from her that were, "You're not who you're meant to be. You're not who you're meant to be." And that's when I realized I am being pushed to become somebody that I'm meant to be. And in a meditation, which I don't do meditations ever, I'd never had, I couldn't
Mhm.
couldn't get through them. I was gifted a meditation by this random woman whose name was Trisha, said, "I have a meditation for you. I don't know why you crossed a path crossed my Instagram profile, but you did, and I'm being called to give you this meditation is to connect to your higher self." I go into this meditation. I am in the meditation, like leaning over, pretty sure I drooled on the floor, never have in
Really?
my life. Yes.
Really?
And in this meditation, I connect with my higher self. And she walks up to me and she says, I've been waiting many years for this moment. And I'm very grateful that you showed up because it's time. You've always been a healer, and women need you. You need to step forward and you need to own the calling that has been given to you. And the time is now. And I came out of that meditation knowing Trisha guided that woman into my path, brought that meditation to me because I wasn't listening to her, Sheila. I
Yeah.
wasn't listening to Trisha. So she's like, if you won't listen to me, then I'm going to make it
Bring
so
someone to
obvious.
you.
Yeah. Yes.
That
So,
that's ooh,
yeah,
that's powerful, Tara.
very, very. It was very clear to me
Mhm.
that, you know, I've always been a healer, always. And this, I had to put my fears behind me and I needed to do this for the women that needed my calling, my healing. The world needed it as
Yeah.
a whole.
You know, Tara, I'm one of those people that I believe that everything that happens in life is preparing you for what you're calling in,
Oh,
right?
yes, yes.
And what you went through at a very young age was preparing you for what you are now.
Yeah, you are right, and I see that now. I
Yeah,
see that
yeah.
now.
And
Mhm.
then as as you're talking, as you're telling the story, I'm like, oh, I can see how what has going on in you is preparing you for this time now. Um, you have a process that's called Unravel, Upgrade, Uplevel.
Yes.
Let's talk about that a little bit and explain how you guide women through breaking free from self-sabotage and reclaiming their authentic selves.
Yeah, my favorite. I love this process. It's really been what I've done through the years without
Mhm.
realizing it. As you said, like, everything we go through is preparing us, right? And so this is what I've done. So the unravel is really the unbecoming. We get rooted in habits and behaviors and thoughts and practices that are us, right?
Mhm.
And most times these are far out of alignment. I mean, I think I can almost say all the time. They're out of alignment with really who we are, our authentic selves, or with what we want. And so a great example is you've got somebody that comes home and wants to sit down and just relax and have a moment to themselves, but they're being beckoned to get up and go do something. And rather than having that moment to say, I just need a moment to relax for a second, or you know what, tonight's not the night. How about you take care of it? They get up and they do it and they neglect themselves. And this is what they do on all levels and all areas of their
Mhm.
life over and over and over. Or they're saying no or saying yes when they'd rather say the opposite. They're people pleasing. They're neglecting their happiness and their overall peace in life. And we have to unravel from that,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
You
Definitely.
I look at it as a computer system. If you need to change the computer system, you have to take out what's in there. You need to remove the
Mhm.
systems.
Yeah.
We have to start removing the ways that we've been and start shifting and changing, and to do that we unravel the whole thing. Once we've unraveled and we've removed things like the languages, the beliefs, the statements, all those things, that the habits and the characteristics that are sabotaging our happiness, our peace, our joy, our love, whatever you want to put in there, then we can go to the upgrade. Then we can start inputting information, ways of being, processes that are actually going to help us to become the woman that we are destined to be. But
Mhm.
even more than that, Sheila, it's the woman you want to be, right? The
Yes.
woman you want to be is
Mhm.
placed upon you because that's who you're supposed to be. It's not by accident that you have a desire to be a CEO, to be a nail tech, to be a dog groomer, whatever it is. It's not by accident. It's on your heart because that's who you were created
Mhm.
to be. So we're going to start to upgrade you and begin implementing the different things that you need, the belief system, the statements, the habits, all that we can do to help you start stepping into alignment with becoming that woman that you're desiring to be. Once we've upgraded you, now we're ready to up level. Now we take it to the sweet spot, right?
Mhm.
Now we're going where we're putting we've got the bowl and the ice cream. Now we're putting the toppings. We're putting all
All the good stuff on top.
Yes, this is where we up level you and we
Yeah.
fully step into the becoming. This is where you rise into that woman. And my company name in my podcast is Be the Change You Need.
Mhm.
And it's all about us being the change.
Right. Right.
In When we unravel and upgrade and up level, that's what we're doing. We're
Mhm.
becoming the change that we need. We're no longer waiting for permission. We're no longer waiting to be saved. We're no longer waiting for the external validation.
Yes.
None of it. We're the change. We're the vehicle. We're the one that's doing the work. And there is no transformation more delicious than the one that you do for yourself.
Yes. I love that.
Ex
Love that. What advice would you offer to someone who might feel trapped by their circumstances or their past experiences?
mm, yeah. This I understand at such a deep, deep level,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, there are trillions of people that are able to resonate with this very deeply. The advice that I would say if you feel trapped is to, first of all, know that there's no such thing as trapped. There's no such thing. If you were to ask yourself, this is a question that I have my clients ask themselves all the time. I ask myself, is it 100% true that you're trapped?
Mhm. Mhm.
And when you look at it in that way, you realize, no, it's not 100% true.
Yeah.
Now it allows you to start opening your mind to look at, what are my options for change? What are my options for getting movement out of here, first and foremost? Now, if it's past experiences, my advice is doing energy clearing and limiting belief releasing. Our limiting beliefs and even the energy that we've taken on that does not belong to us, This is in your unconscious, subconscious space. That's 95% of your day, which is your
Mhm.
autopilot, right?
Yeah.
So if we think we've got 67,000 thoughts a day and 95% of those thoughts are coming at us, and they can be negative thoughts, they can be limiting beliefs, they can be false identities that don't belong to us. They're constantly making you feel like you're stuck
Yeah.
because you're wanting to move forward, but they're pushing you back. You don't understand, and you're continuing to be in a teeter totter process
Mhm.
of wanting to move forward. That's stuck. So, releasing that energy, releasing those limiting beliefs, those are huge, huge keys. Now, somebody I can hear saying, okay, that's great, but how can I do this by myself? Because you're not ready to reach out for help. And that's great. That's okay. I was there for a lot of years.
Mhm. Mhm.
Reframing those thoughts. Every lie has a truth. So write down a lie. So, for instance, I'm not good enough. That's a
Yeah.
lie. It's not
Yeah.
true, but it's a belief that we believe to be true for us.
Mhm.
Write it down and then cross it out and then write the truth next to it. I have always been and always will be good enough. And continue to state that when you reframe that. And when that thought pops up and you become aware of it, you're thinking, I'm not good enough. You've got 30 seconds to turn that ship around and say, whoa, 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 this is not true. No, one
Yeah.
second. I am and always have been and always will be good enough. And
Mhm.
saying that with so much conviction, you begin to shift the neural pathways within your brain and you start creating new pathways that are actually the truths that you know to be true for you. The other piece that I would say is really asking yourself to get real with yourself and know, why are you keeping yourself stuck? And I know this is a hard thing, and this was hard for me to have to own, but
Yeah.
sometimes we keep ourselves stuck.
Uh,
And
yeah.
go ahead.
I agree with that. I definitely agree. Sometimes we're afraid.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
afraid. Yeah.
very much the fear-based thinking is
Mhm.
a huge part of it.
Yeah. I understand that. You mentioned your podcast and your company is the same as your podcast, right? Be the change you need.
Yes,
You also have a program, She Rises. Can
yeah.
you tell us a little bit about that and what impact do you hope to have on the women you work with?
Yes. So this is actually where I've put the upgrade or sorry, the unravel, the upgrade and the up level.
Mhm.
That's a process. It's part of She Rises. It's a 6-month journey where we go through the 3 different phases of moving through it. So 8 weeks of each of the phases. And the impact that I'm looking and hoping to have is that I'm actually helping to women to become the woman that they want, to release the negative beliefs, these negative emotions, this way of being that has kept them stuck and kept them in a way of being that is out of alignment with who they are meant to be, keeping them unhappy and lost and unfulfilled, and actually moving them into that place of fulfillment, of success, of love, of joy, of being an empowered woman that isn't sitting on the bench
Mhm.
allowing everybody else to live your life for you and dictate where you're going and how you need to get there and who you need to be in the process. You are in control of your life. You are the author of your story. You're the driver of your ship.
Mhm.
You're the one that's deciding what your life is going to look like. And because of that, you're living a life of full fulfillment and no longer feeling like you're missing out on anything.
What transformations have you witnessed because of this?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, a lot, weight loss, obviously, that's a
Mhm.
big thing. Most of the women coming in, that's a hope that they'll have, which is a transformation that they'll experience. But I'm also finding where relationships are improving. They're having better relationships with their partners. The respect levels that they're receiving through their family is improving. I've had women that have actually shifted out of careers that have kept them unhappy and they believe that they could never shift out of, and they've stepped into a career that they love. I've had women that have left relationships that were brutally abusive.
Yeah.
One I can think of right now, and she's able to live her life without the domestic violence that was in it for 25 years.
Mm.
And she is doing absolutely amazing, learning to love herself and working
Mhm.
through a lot of deep crevices of trauma. that she's very, very successfully navigating in my program. I've had women that have lived for one specific woman that I can think of right now. She's had panic attacks for 20 years, and she no longer has these panic attacks as we've unraveled and went through. She's traveling.
Mhm.
She is doing things that she's never believed or imagined she could do. She's living life to the fullest. Another woman who believed that she could never have children because she was having issues. And I never say that I can get these results.
Right.
This is just the result for her
Mhm.
is she's actually released beliefs that she's had around being a mom, and she fully believes that that's what has blessed her now with a baby
Yeah.
that she loves. So a lot of incredible transformations. The biggest is the confidence, the self-love, and
Mhm.
the absolute trust that these women have in themselves to take a lead role in their life. That's the biggest transformation across the
Do
board.
you think that a lot of reasons why we as women are held back is because of our confidence and ourselves? And once um once we overcome that, then we become such a better version of ourselves.
Yeah. Confidence, I really do think
Mhm.
is probably the driving force for
Yeah.
why we don't take action, why we
Mhm.
don't go after our dreams, and why we do stay stuck, right? I
Yeah.
do this because Sheila, for years I believed that God and whoever you speak to, for me it's God, the universe, the high
Mhm.
power. I believe that he made two different kinds of people. The fortunate, the good looking, the skinny, the successful, the ones with money, and then me. And I didn't understand why I got the short end of the stick, but I did.
Yeah, yeah.
And what I have learned is I created the short end of the stick for myself
Mhm.
because I kept myself stuck there, and it was the lack of confidence. However, I am learning that confidence is in the doing, but I'm learning that you don't do when you're so convoluted with all of these beliefs that are keeping you rooted in continuing to be who you are, that is someone that doesn't take action because you're too scared to take action.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yes. If there was one key message or lesson you would want listeners to take away from your journey, what would that be?
Man, I have so many. The biggest is connecting with yourself in the mirror every single morning. At first, it's hard. This is what saved my life and changed my life was looking in the mirror, seeing myself, connecting with my eyes, and it took me a while. It took me a while to bring my head up to be able to connect with my eyes, but I did this every single day until I could embrace my looking at myself and do this every day and talk to yourself and tell yourself how much you love yourself, how much you appreciate yourself, how proud you are, and make sure you say your name. And
Mhm.
the very first time you do this, you're going to whisper it and you're not going to like it at all. And you're going to think that I'm an evil woman that's asking you to do the most evil of things. But I promise that if you do this for just 2 weeks,
Mhm.
you will start to shift how you see yourself when
Yeah.
you look in the mirror
Yeah.
because you'll begin to look beyond the surface
Mhm.
and all that you see is faults and all of your shortcomings and you will begin to see the truly amazing individual, man or woman, that's within.
Yeah. One of the things that I try and do, I started doing a few years ago, um, are like daily affirmations. And I have daily affirmations that I have, and I say one every single
Good.
to to encourage myself. So people always say to me, "You're good at giving encouraging others." And, we're always so good at uplifting and encouraging others, but it's so hard for us to encourage ourselves. And I was one of those people. And I started with just simple, I am a good person. This is gonna be a
Yes.
good day for me. And then I started putting my name. This is gonna be a good day for you, Sheila. You
Yes.
you are blessed today, Sheila. Why am I blessed? Because X, Y, and Z. I'll sit there while I'm either brushing my teeth or putting on my makeup.
Yes.
just saying those little things once a day in the morning changes my whole day.
Love that.
So good about myself. So I truly believe doing those things are very helpful for you. What are you grateful for, Tara?
I am grateful that I survived the journey to become who I am. That's one of my
Mm.
biggest things that I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I am blessed with a calling that is a huge responsibility. Healing women scared me to start because to me this is like being a surgeon with a scalpel.
Mhm.
And it scared me to think that I could be trusted with this journey and that it was
Yeah.
so easy for me to do. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for my family, my husband, my boys. I'm grateful to get to wake up every day and take my first breath and bless it everybody else that crosses my path.
Uh,
And you, I'm grateful that you're here
oh,
doing your
thank
work.
you. Thank you. And I'm grateful for you. I'm so
Thank
grateful.
you.
If my listeners want to get in touch with you, be part of your program, can you give out your social handles? How can they get in touch with you? All of that good stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking. So on Facebook, it's just Tara Wiskow, and it's Be the Change You Need is in the handle of Facebook. Instagram, and I'll give you all these too to
Mm-hmm.
put in the show notes if you'd like.
Yes.
Instagram is gonna be at Tara dot, the little period sign, Wiskow. Now, if you just go to Tara Wiskow, you're gonna find a confused algorithm, and it's all about the years of identity shifting, so that's not the correct one. Tara dot Wiskow is my current one, and then TikTok. You'll also
Okay.
find me there. My website is Tara wisco.com, www.tara-wisco.com.
Okay. And your podcast again is Be the Change You Need, right?
Correct. Yep. On Apple and Spotify. Yes.
Do you have any closing thoughts or reflections you'd like to share?
You have lots of good questions. You go deep, and
I'm
I like
trying.
it. It's good. I think just wake up every day with that attitude of gratitude that you get to be you. Like that's my closing is we don't appreciate enough that we get to be who we are. We don't love that enough. And in closing, that's what I want to encourage every individual is before you get up and look at your phone, before you go about the day taking care of everybody else, I want you just to sit on the side of your bed, let your feet be grounded on the floor, and I want you to ask yourself why you're grateful that you get to wake up and be you. Not about what everybody else is in this world to you and what everybody else does for you. Why in the world are you grateful to get to be you? Start your day like that, and it will shift a lot for you throughout the rest of your day.
Tara, this has been an incredible conversation. Your story is
Thank
such a
you.
powerful reminder that no matter how broken or how lost we feel, transformation is always possible. I so believe that, and you have proven that. You've
Thank
shown us that our deepest pain can become our greatest purpose, and that the life we dream of isn't out of reach. It's already within us. It's just waiting
Yes.
to be claimed, right?
Yes, your future self is waiting for
That's
you to
waiting.
show up.
Thank you, Tara, for sharing your heart, your wisdom, and your light with us today. And you've inspired me to rise. I know you've inspired my listeners to rise into our fullest, our most authentic selves. And I appreciate that. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
To all my listeners, if Tara's journey taught us anything, is that you have the power to unravel what's holding you back. You can upgrade your mindset and uplevel your life. It's not about perfection, it's about progress, courage, and choosing yourself, even when it's hard. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. And remember, you are enough, you are worthy, and your transformation begins the moment you decide to take that first step. Until next time, this is Sheila reminding you to take charge of your life and make it everything you dreamed that it could be. Be the change you need. See you next time. Thank you. Until next time, remember to embrace the journey, build lasting connections, and step boldly into all that life has in store for you. I'm your host, Sheila Dunbar. Blessings to you.